Okay, everybody, listen to me very carefully because I believe that the marketing department for MGM is trying to fool us with this trailer. And if you've seen it a million times like I have, then you probably have picked up on it that it gives us a lot, but gives us nothing at the same time. And if you think pulling that bottle tree out of the ground is going to open up some magic portal that's going to save Jada and Tabitha, then you're sadly mistaken because we all know that this is at least part of a trap that has been set by the man in yellow. Now, is it going to work correctly? I don't know, but this is a trap that he at least tried to set. So that should tell you right there that tearing down this tree is a sabotage mission. And I think this was perfectly designed to shatter the town. And then let's take a look at that fresh blood that Boyd has on his shirt because we know that he didn't get that from fighting some monster at nighttime. I am pretty sure that he's going to get that blood from one of the survivors of the town. Now, which member of the town is it? I have a couple of clues that I'll share with you, but before we get into anything, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate you all for coming, and it really helps the channel, and please keep coming back for more. And with that being said, this is the From Season 4 finale prediction. I'm going to give you my predictions, a little bit of theory, but mostly predictions, and they're probably going to be very, very grounded because while we've had some wild theories throughout this season, the way things are playing out, I think we're going to have a more grounded finale. Now, before I do get started, I do want to touch on this one theory that's out there that I don't think I really believe in, and that's this great split where half the town is going to be back in the real world and the other half is going to be trapped in Fromville trying to find some way out. I do not feel that's what we are going to get. That is probably a little bit too much to explain, especially with everything we've truly gotten. So I think that the town probably will be split. But when they do get split up, it'll probably be in different parts of Fromville, the huts by the lake, the old settlement maybe. We have, the town itself. And I'm sure there are other things out there that haven't been explored yet that may come in handy when this town does eventually split. So I think to understand the catastrophe that's heading our way, we have to look at all the hidden details and clues that we've been fed throughout this entire season. But if nothing else, the one thing that was driven home last episode was that rituals are important, cycles are important, and the town runs on both. This entire season has been building up towards this moment where we get to this tree and they're going to pull it out of the ground or maybe escape through it. But the tree was always been built up as important for this season. And when you think about the bottle tree, you have to think about what a bottle tree really is in real world mythology because it's used to trap spirits. And in this case, I'm pretty sure that this bottle tree is meant to trap or capture their evil entities or spirits that are within this town. Now, I don't think that it's done that because we have monsters roaming about. We have the man in yellow roaming about. So it hasn't done a very good job of trapping this evil unless it's for the entire town and it's trapped everything inside the town. And maybe that's why the boy in white has been telling Victor for decades that don't bother the tree, don't cut the tree down. The tree is important. Even though that's all coded up in everything that he's saying, and he's not being clear at all. He's just, the tree is important. Why is the tree important? Can you tell me why the tree is important? Because you just telling me not to cut this tree down and that the tree is important means absolutely nothing to these people that are trying to survive. Speaking of the boy in white, he clearly operates outside of linear time. He has not aged a day up until recently, and he's been talking to Victor for decades. And one theory that I saw out there, I think was actually in my comment section, was that the boy in white is probably one of the original kids that was sacrificed in this town. And maybe that's why he acts as a spiritual god of sorts to kind of protect the outskirts of the town and the people within the town from the horrors that are actually there. But instead of listening to the boy in white and Victor, Boyd takes a group and goes out on this panicked, half-ass, really not thought out mission that is probably going to get some people killed, all to pull a tree out of the ground that we all probably know, and they have to feel this deep down. This is a bad idea. When they do potentially pull this tree out of the ground, there is a chance that this could be one big waste of time. Because like one of our subscribers pointed out to me, Victor has been measuring these trees through all of the season. And Victor has always said that these trees move. So if that holds true, and when they go to pull it out of the ground to save Jade and Tabitha, they may not even be in the right spot, technically. Now, will the show stick to its own logic? We don't know. We know they drop the ball sometimes. We ignore it because it's a great show. But with that being said, it is possible that this tree could be in a different spot and Jade and Tabitha could be actually trapped underground. Like I said in the previous video, when you look at the underground and when the cowboy monster just pulls the tarp back like a curtain, but it's still fairly dark inside this cave tunnel area. So I'm thinking that maybe they did pull the tree out, but maybe they pulled it out of the wrong spot. and Jada and Tabitha are still stuck. Now, it is a pretty dark show. They're inside the tunnel, so it just could be naturally dark even if the tree gets removed anyways. But maybe them removing this tree, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, is the reason the monsters can ignore the talisman to begin with. But before we go any further, before we talk about the town's defenses, can we please talk about this Hall of Fame level of stupidity that we've been watching? Sophia is quite literally prancing around, dancing around the diner, having a damn good time. And we're sitting here watching a man in yellow dance around in a dead woman's skin without a care in the world. And the crazy part about that is everybody's blind to it. And then right when we have a breakthrough, dumb Elgin decides to not take this Polaroid that he found that clearly shows a version of Sophia when she was actually Sophia in a different timeline. Instead of taking it to Boyd, leaving the diner, putting it in his back pocket, keeping his mouth shut, doing anything other than what he did, which was take the thing to her with a smile on his face. And he's like, hey, Sophia, that's you. This looks just like you. What an idiot. I hate Elgin. And I really hope that he's dead. And I don't think that he is, so I'm probably going to be disappointed. But I really hope Elgin is dead because he deserves to be. He is the most pointless character. He is the dumbest character. His storyline has served this point, and I think it's time for Elgin to go. Now, like I was saying, Sophia's unbothered. We see her in one scene in this trailer shaking something, which is probably a snow globe, and it's probably the town. But coincidentally, there's an earthquake going on, and Victor is trapped in a cell. And then that red lightning is either connected to the bones and that ritual, or it's either connected to the bottle tree. And the reason I say that is because if you pay attention to it, just slow it down, go frame by frame. Because I didn't pay attention to it at first, but then I caught it that the lightning is traveling up. So something from the ground is going up into the sky and causing this storm. And we know it's one of two things. The tree plan was either successful or not successful, and this could be punishment, or maybe, just maybe, they broke the cycle and this is the energy from the bones traveling up. Now, the problem with that is all of that may be good and they may think that it's good. But as we see in the trailer, I believe that the talisman are not working. Even if the talisman aren't working temporarily, it's still a dangerous situation because they have monsters in their face. Smiley's walking inside either the clinic or the post office. We have other monsters that are going to be roaming about because if you look at this drawing that Victor has, he drew this entire scene almost. The red storm, a bottle tree pulled out of the ground right next to Colin House with some black figures in the grass. So this tells me that it's going to be some shit that's going to go down, and it could all probably go down at Colin House because we see Ethan in the trailer as well. Let them know that everybody's going to die. So we'll see here in a few days who's right and who's wrong, but I personally believe that the talisman are not working anymore. Have they worked in the past? Sure. Are they working on the town's belief? Probably not. They probably actually worked for whatever cosmic reason that there was. But are they working in this moment or will they work in this episode? I do not think so. There is no reason that Smiley could just walk into a building. The cowboy and the cheerleader and the nurse can just walk into this room that Jada and Tabitha are in when they're talisman up if they are working. So that's just my theory. You guys let me know again what you think about it. I'm sure some of you are going to tell me that I'm crazy. The talisman actually worked. They just fell in the earthquake, which is all plausible. Maybe the talisman do fall in the earthquake, but we can't just say that because unless you've seen the episode, you don't know when the talisman are going to fall or if they're going to fall and if it's caused by the earthquake. So I guess we'll just see. And that brings me straight into our core cast because I want to talk about all of these characters and their narratives and how we've gotten to this point where everything is about to break and all chaos is about to be unleashed. And there are going to be some people that die. I promise you. Well, I can't promise you. I always say I promise and I can't promise. But I can almost promise you that there are going to be some people that die in this episode. This is not going to be one of those episodes that just ends on a happy ending. There are going to be some people that die, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, too, because I'm going to predict to you who I feel is going to die, and I've already told you that I want Elgin to be one of them, so do I even need to talk about him anymore? But let's go ahead and get into these characters and let's talk about Boyd real quick. Because the main reason I want to talk about him is because I want to talk about this blood that's on his shirt. We see Boyd at 3 different points in this trailer, and they're all different. One, his shirt is clean. One, his shirt has blood on it. And the other, he's with a Costa and it looks a little bit unbuttoned like he's changing his shirt. So these are at 3 different moments throughout the episode. The third time with a Costa, he's giving up on something. What is he giving up on? Did the mission fail? Why is Acosta all of a sudden giving Boyd a pep talk when she hated him earlier? And I know they've come to some common ground in the last few episodes, but what is it that Boyd is potentially giving up on? The synopsis kind of warned us that Boyd is going to face some crossroads. And what is that crossroads going to be? We know he's been suffering from his intensifying tremors, the hallucinations of Father Cautry, and then he's been suffering the entire series over this overwhelming savior complex. So if this bottle tree plan is successful, then a lot of bad stuff is probably going to happen. And we already know that. But let's talk about if the bottle tree plan falls apart, because I think that's where it gets a little bit more interesting and grounded and where this episode could actually go. Because if the bottle tree plan falls apart, Boyd, with his savior complex, is going to go down in those tunnels to try to save Jade and Tabitha. We already know that. That's who he is. And if he does go down there, we already know it's going to play massive psychological tricks on him the entire time. But that's kind of why I don't think that's the way it's going to happen. Because one, we're probably only getting an hour. So they're not going to have time to just fit these large story narratives into this hour. I doubt we get 90 minutes. And I'm sorry if I'm a party pooper, but I really doubt we get 90 minutes. I hope we do. And I'll be ecstatic if we do, but plan for 60. But with the way everything is laid out, like I said, with the blood on Boyd's shirt specifically, we're not going to have time for him to go explore these caves. So the only way he's going to get blood on his shirt from the bottle tree plan is if either Jade or Tabitha or somebody that's there with them dies and he maybe got blood on his shirt, because they are coming from the clinic and him, Randall, Ellis, and Fatima are walking out. And Fatima looks rather healthy too, but we see them coming out and looking up at the red storm. So this blood came from somewhere. And I know I'm focusing a lot on this blood, but it came from somewhere. And I'm wondering which survivor it came from, because who I really think it came from is Henry. I know I haven't talked about Henry, and that was sort of on purpose, because Henry's storyline is over, at least for me. It has ran its course. We know that he's going crazy. He wants to go live in the dream world. He thinks that that is the real world, and we all know that it's not. Dream Victor is selling him this dream. Cut the cord, cut the tether, cut the anchor, eliminate it, and you can stay here with me. And maybe he can stay with him, but he's going to be dead if he does. All I have to say about that is Henry is definitely going to die in this episode. And here I am making promises again. Henry more than likely is going to die in this episode. I don't see a world where Henry doesn't die in this episode. I think it's time to close off that storyline. It has run its course for this season, and we all know that it's going to either end with Henry and Victor dead or just Henry, because there's no world where Henry kills Victor and Henry doesn't die too. He either kills himself or somebody kills him, which takes me to Boyd. I doubt Victor is going to die in this episode, so let me say that now. He could, but I doubt Victor dies in this episode, so I apologize if I scared anybody with that. But this is probably where the blood comes from. It probably comes from Henry. Boyd probably had to go save Victor in some type of fashion. And maybe he took Henry to the clinic to see if he could save him, and that's how he got the blood on his shirt. But that's my prediction. I think the blood came from Henry, and I do think that Henry is dead or will die in this episode. Now, how did Henry get into this situation? And we all know it's from Sophia's blood. And Sophia has been playing a lot of games this entire season. And she's told us as much, that she's playing a lot of games. And one of the games I think she is playing ever so subtly in the background is with Ethan. Remember a few episodes ago, she stood outside and gave him a little creepy wave and smile. Ever since that moment, I've thought that Ethan was on her hit list. Now, the only other reason that Ethan could be telling Julie that everybody is going to die is because maybe he had a vision or a dream of everybody dying. It's probably foreshadowing or a very real dream. And he tells her that because Ethan, outside of Victor, knows the most about what's going on here. Yes, it's through stories and his little fairy tales from his books, but apparently these stories are coming real. And maybe all of this is coming from Ethan's mind. And I would really hate to think that this is some type of dreamscape, some type of nightmare that everybody's trapped in, because I really don't like that either. But it could be. And since Victor and Ethan know the most about this place and all the tricks of the trade and everything that they say seems to happen, maybe it's one of those two's dreams or nightmares that we've been living in for the last 4 seasons. I hope that's not it, but it could be. And finally, Fatima. I want to bring up Fatima because Fatima's been a very, very interesting character throughout this season. I don't think we're done with Fatima. I think we're going to travel with Fatima into season 5, but I do think we're going to get some closure on some things about Fatima in this episode, mainly the Golem and this connection to Smiley. I think that's going to play out in this episode. Yes, we saw her get poisoned, we assume, by Clara. But the biggest clue that I have that Fatima may be okay is the fact that she walks out of the clinic looking fairly healthy, looking up at the red storm with Ellis, Boyd, and Randall. So we saw her crunched over the last time we saw her, and she was down bad. But now she looks okay. Maybe the Golem is protecting her. Maybe the Golem is the reason that she has this psychic link to Smiley. I'm also sure it could be because Smiley is her son, technically, but it's more than likely because of the Golem. Because the Golem was not just put into our lives to just sit there and just be a stick of mud. And I'm sure you caught the pun with that. But it wasn't just put there for nothing. It's doing something, and maybe we don't realize it, but it's doing something. And I'm theorizing, and I'm almost sure that this Golem, I don't think we'll ever see it come to full life, at least not in the physical form. Maybe we'll see some flashes or something like that. Maybe the eyes will change colors, who knows? But I just feel as though this Golem is the reason that she probably has this psychic link, because it's protecting her. It's protecting her from the monsters, and just so happened to give her a connection with one. And when we see Smiley in the trailer walking through a door, and it could be the clinic, it could be the post office, but if it's the clinic, we already know that he's going to go visit Marielle and Fatima. And is that Marielle that may have died in the clinic? Maybe Smiley killed Marielle, and that's how Boyd got the blood on his shirt. This is also a possibility. But if Smiley's at the clinic, Fatima already told us that she had this vision or dream of Smiley standing outside her window, and she wouldn't know what to do with him if that happened. So what if the reason that Smiley's walking through his door is because maybe Fatima opened the damn door? But I'm not sure what the man in yellow blood was supposed to do to Fatima, but she seems to be better, at least a little bit going into this episode. I'm not going to say she's 100%, but she's up and walking. She's not crunched over. So that tells me that something has her feeling better. Maybe she's under the control of the man in yellow and just doesn't know it. We don't know, so we'll see about that. But I think it's the Golem, and I think the Golem is playing a role in her physical restoration. But based on the hidden clues and the trajectory of everything in this season so far, here is my somewhat definitive prediction for what I think is going to play out in this finale. We know we're going to see the bottle tree, and we're going to see that mission, and it's probably going to be successfully executed. There is no reason to name the episode If a Tree Falls in the Forest if the damn tree isn't going to fall in the forest. You can name it something else. But from there, they probably are going to find Jade and Tabitha underground. They're probably going to pull the tree up and they'll be there. The problem with that is Sophia sabotaged the ladder. So the ladder is going to break. So they're going to get stuck in this tunnel. So they're going to get stuck in the tunnels regardless. If they get pulled out or not, Jade and Tabitha are going to get stuck in these tunnels. Doesn't matter what happens with the tree. They're stuck. Now, while the sky turned red, it is more than likely the bones or the tree or a combination of both and the energy from it traveling up. And I think it could release what I believe to be something very, very scary. But before we go there, Jade's entire arc this season has been like this hero. And I believe that it is possible. I'm going to go two ways with this. I believe it is possible that Jade sacrifices himself and breaks the cycle. Now, what happens after he breaks the cycle, what happens after the tree comes out of the ground? Pure chaos. The red lightning is going to shoot up. I believe it is going to awaken what I believe is the true big bad of the From series, and that is the red entity. We've seen it painted on the walls in the caves. This is no mistake. The caves, the drawings, Miranda's painting, they have all told the story of the show so far. They have been very, very accurate. So I think this is when we finally see the true big bad of the From series, the red entity. And that is why I believe the talisman have been rendered useless, even if temporary. And I think that is what's going to force the survivors to fracture into different groups and split off amongst each other. Not to mention they're probably going to be pissed off at Boyd and the people at the tree that they pulled it out and caused this to happen. So, you know, the town turning on each other is all part of everything. We do not know the rules. I sound like Boyd now, I guess. We do not know the rules. If the cycle is broken, anything could happen. We have to remember that. We know the rules of the cycle pretty much, and we know how that cycle works, who dies, who lives, how it happens, and whatnot. We don't know, and we had never been told what happens if they break the cycle. And I think it's just going to be more chaos. I'm sure they think it's going to be a happy ending. Oh, it's going to be a portal, the lake of tears, whatever the case may be. We're going to get out of here. It is not going to be that easy. And I think this is what's going to force Julie to get off the bench and finally go back to her Storywalking journey going into season 5. And I think that is how we're going to learn how to truly beat the whole town and how it all started, because this has been a history lesson. And the creators told us that they're going to tell us everything in this season, the origins of the man in yellow. So we should learn everything. And if the man in yellow has an origin, that means that he's not the big bad, in my opinion. Something had to create him. He had to come from somewhere. And that leads me to believe that there is a bigger thing or person over the man in yellow, which leads me to believe that the red entity is the big bad. And that's why I say all of that. But I think it's all going to boil down to Julie's story walking and her story walking ability and where it takes us in season 5, because I think that will be the true key to unlock everything in Fromville. And we kind of get a little nugget in that, because if you guys look really, really closely, I'm pretty sure that is Julie in that picture off to the corner, the one with Sophia in it. I think that's Julie. I think she's story walking, and I think she's going to meet the original Sophia. Now, what is she going to learn in that moment? I couldn't tell you, other than the fact that Sophia is a different damn person, and that, she's wearing a dress that Kenny's mom was buried in, I thought, but it also seems like Claire is kind of wearing it as a top, so it's making its rounds. But with all that being said, I think my brain now is officially melted. I've probably melted yours as well, and I apologize if I have. I know I've talked a lot, I threw a lot out there, but I tried to end it on a definitive case. I know I still went a couple of ways with some of it, but let me know what you guys think. What are you guys' prediction for the finale? I really want to know what you guys' predictions are, and tell me what you think about some of my theories and predictions. I didn't tell you who I thought was going to die, so let me do that before I get out of here. The people that I truly feel are going to die, and I'll just make this short and sweet. Elgin, I think he's out of here. Henry, I think he's out of here. I do think there's a chance that either Jade and or Ellis could die. Ellis, like I said before, is Boy's anchor. I don't think Ellis is going to die yet, because Ellis' purpose is to break Boy. I think that's the final straw that breaks the back. So I don't think that's now. It could be. I think they would rather flesh that out over a couple of episodes, so probably next season. But Ellis is probably good going to next season, but he's in danger then. Jade could make a sacrifice, because I think that's the only way that he could break this cycle, because otherwise we're just going to go in this circle, and then the town is going to end up killing him, and then something bad is going to happen to Tabitha. Now, with that being said, please let me know what you think in the comments about everything. I appreciate you all for coming. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and I will see you guys in a few days for the finale, and we will talk about that more. We will talk about it live. We will talk about it in my recorded video, because I will be doing both. So I'm really looking forward to the live video to see what you guys really think. Let me know if you guys think if I should do the live discussion breakdown right after the finale airs. Would you prefer me to do it Saturday night? Because I know a lot of us watch it Saturday night going into Sunday morning and into the wee hours. And we could do a live then. We could do a live on Sunday after the official finale airs. And we can just have everybody in it, and we could just talk. We could do it both nights. Let me know what you guys want. I'm here for it. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you all for coming. I will see you in the next one.